Hi. So my question is, you guys were discussing blue-collar workers and how they have a lot of wisdom, which I certainly agree with. I'm sure they do have a lot of wisdom. However, your guys' perspective more so sounded like they essentially have more wisdom or more knowledge than someone in academia. And my question is, why do you guys believe that blue-collar workers and people in these laborious jobs have more knowledge than someone in academia? And is that rooted, or how is that factually rooted?
So I guess I would say, rather than saying wisdom, I would say that they have more real world value and currency than somebody who's writing papers trying to transform the world from a classroom. And I genuinely believe that. I believe that there is more value in learning to work with your hands. There's more value in learning how to raise productive human beings. I hate the fact that women are being sold a bill of lies and being told that we should be competing with men and wanting to run executives of, Fortune 500 companies. I believe that we absolutely flourish in our feminine roles and that the toughest job in the world is being a stay-at-home mom and raising good children. So to me, when we shifted those values and we stopped realizing that these people actually have the most value to society, in society, we watched our social decline begin. And we have essentially been within a managed social decline for the last 60 years, in my opinion.
I would add to that, anyone has to take a sociology class or anthropology class here? Yeah, have a kid. You'll learn a lot more about human beings than anything a textbook could teach you.
100% true. Experience always is going to override what you can learn in a book.
By the way, I would say you conflated two words, knowledge and wisdom. They're not the same thing. There's a lot of knowledge here at Ohio State University. There's not a lick of wisdom in most of these classrooms. And what is the difference? Very simple. Knowledge is practical. How do you develop a medication? How do you navigate an airplane?
Build a house.
Build a house. That's fine. Knowledge is important. Wisdom tells you whether or not you should do it. Wisdom is eternal. Wisdom does not change. Wisdom is the knowledge of things that will be true 200 years from now, and they were true 500 years before, because you're dealing with the same raw material. Human beings do not change. We are broken from nature, and it takes effort to create good people.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. So I noticed you had a lot of thoughts on feminism. I'm a feminist, but
Really
I was
fine.
just wondering, how do you differentiate between the extremism that exists in feminism, as it does across, multiple different ideologies, but how do you differentiate between the extremism and how, feminists like me think? I don't hate men.
It's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. It's a great, great question. So what you have to realize about the left when you talk about extremism is they hack words that once had real meaning, and they take them for their own nefarious goals, right? So they'll say racism, and you'll go, oh my God, no, really, racism used to exist, but now it means organizing your pantry. That's obviously not racism. That's completely ridiculous. You see something like feminism, and once upon a time, women were fighting for the right to vote. Well, now we have that. We have equal footing. And now they're using those terms. They're hiding behind the shield of feminism, and they're doing actually horrible things in society. And I blame feminists for almost every ill that we have right now, because they've encouraged people not to act as a woman, and they bash men all the time. And I think that they have contributed the most to the breakdown of family in terms of an ideology. Now, for you,
answer my question.
no, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Now, for you, you're like, okay, but I actually am somebody that just believes in equality, that there should be equality between the sexes, right?
I think it's more culturally and socially, not necessarily in the realm of legality.
Sure, so I'm going to ask you, what is it socially? So you could call yourself something, right? That means that there's some fight that you have. What is it socially that you and I have as women that we don't have that men do? Why is there a need for you to be a feminist?
I think as women, we are undervalued when it comes to our intelligence. I think people, especially for me, as a woman who, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Go ahead, let her talk.
For me, as a woman, I feel like a lot of people look at me and think I'm superficial. They think I'm vapid. They don't necessarily see that I could be intelligent, that I could speak for myself. They tend to automatically...
Guys, don't be rude. Go ahead.
I tend to get belittled a lot, and that comes from men, not necessarily women, right?
So you're saying in your personal capacity, men are belittling you, right? But when you talk about affecting actually a social change, this might be your personal experience, but does that mean that all women are going through this, or that all women are experiencing this belittlement by men?
And see, I understand that, but I think also when I listen to you speak, and you speak on why you don't like feminism, I hear a lot of anecdotal work, and I hear a lot of personal experience, like your experience in that one class that you had whereas I've had 5, 6 classes in my gender studies courses,
Right.
and I've never experienced
No,
anything
that's totally
like that.
fine. That's totally
ever.
fine.
You know
Guys,
what I mean?
They're
So
just
I just
laughing
don't feel
because
like it's
obviously
fair
gender
to
studies.
take personal
it's totally
experience
fine. Yeah, I get
and
what
put
you're
that onto
saying.
everybody.
I'm actually talking about the real world consequences of the dangerous ideology telling women that they have to take their clothes off, that they should be on TikTok. I'm talking about real world consequences.
Yeah,
I'm
but I
talking
feel like
about
that's
literally the fact that
extremism.
women are no longer, like, they're by and large all climbing the corporate ladder, and that children are being ceded over to the state. So I was giving you an anecdotal example of what happened in my feminist class, but the repercussions of that are seen everywhere. What I am saying is that what I'm offering to you is not to feel like you have to give yourself an ism, right? Don't feel like you have to put yourself in a box. Don't feel like you have to put yourself into some weird social constructs. I think that what you'll find with time is that it constrains you unnecessarily. I don't have a problem with the fact if you want to identify as a feminist and you think that there is some fight that needs to be ended. I don't personally think that
Is
that's...
conservatism not a box any more than feminism is?
Well, saying that I have conservative principles, feminism is not being a conservative or being a liberal, right? You're talking about an ideology, right? A system you think
I would assume conservatism is also an ideology as well, is it not?
Sure. Conservatism is an ideology. These are the things that we believe. You could say that everything is an ideology. What I'm saying to you is that I would not necessarily paint yourself into a corner. You don't seem to me like you have any issues speaking up. You don't seem to me like you feel like you're constrained in any way. You're standing up here today. I would offer to you that there's never been a more remarkable time to be a woman in this society. By every statistic, we are doing better than men. That's a fact, right? Men have a higher, we are graduating at a higher rate than men. Men have higher suicide rates. That's why I said to you, despite how you're feeling, what are the real world implications that suggest to you that you are somehow beneath men? You might have a personal experience where a man
we can talk about
said,
sexual assault everywhere, in the military, in the home.
So are these the things that you're fighting to end sexual assault?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, great. You don't have to be a feminist to fight to end sexual assault.
You don't have to be,
Men
but
and women.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't believe you have to
It's
be.
a great cause.
But it's, of course, a
Men
part
and
of the
women go
ideology.
through that. I just said to him, one of the biggest things that I give to every year is for human sex trafficking. It doesn't require to be a feminist. Now,
Yeah.
you seem really committed to it. I've said to you since the very beginning, if you want to be a feminist girl, put it on a T-shirt, wear it, put a hashtag. I'm just telling you, don't unnecessarily put yourself into a corner, and to recognize that it has never been a greater time. I would offer it is a way better time in this society to be a woman.
I'd like to disagree with you
All right,
about college as a scam.
Okay.
Just because there's 50% of people who you say don't need college to get a job, why would it be a scam? There's a social impact about college, on America. College is, good.
The majority of kids that go to college when they graduate have a lower view of America than when they entered. Do you think that's a troubling thing?
I think just changing your opinion doesn't really matter too much.
Do you think that college teaches responsibility and hard work and...
Sure.
Okay, well, I find that hard to believe. Why is it that employers are more and more not wanting to hire college graduates, and they actually want to hire people that didn't go to college?
What employers?
You can name them out, man. Walmart just got rid of their, even in their corporate level, so you don't need to go to college. Koch Industries, one of the largest employers in the country, from Georgia Pacific Railroad to Dow Chemical. They said we no longer want kids that have gone to college because they end up causing problems because they're super entitled. And they're like, oh, what are my pronouns? And they have all this like left-wing nonsense that they've been filled with.
Well, then you have engineers, doctors, lawyers, people that
Sure,
make...
we need that, but that's less than 20% of the people that go to college.
Yeah, but
college is
it'd
an
be wrong to say
institution.
college is a scam if 25% of people become great people. Lawyers, doctors, engineers.
That's
able
not
to
what
really
college
help the
currently
world.
is, though. Again, I'm happy to have you read the book. College is a scam. I wrote it. I can have a more wordy thing, which is the vast majority of people that go to college are receiving a scam for the money that they're borrowing. The vast majority. Of course, there's exceptions. You can make whatever you want with your life. I mean, you could. But I mean, when you enter into an enterprise,
Yeah,
you
but
need to know
most
that
people
you are
that go
currently.
into college
let
make
me
more
prove
money
this to
at
you.
the end.
How many of you guys have to take classes that are a waste of time that you wish you wouldn't have to take? Every single hand. You're being scammed against your will to take classes that make you go further into debt. Why can't you say I don't want to take this class? Why are you? Why as a customer you can't
Can
say?
you do a differential equation?
You what?
Can you do a differential equation?
Can I do
Can
a?
you explain to me the anatomy of a human?
Like somewhat off the top of my head.
You know what psychology is.
Yes, I do know what psychology.
Okay,
I've read
can you
Freud and I've read
explain
Jung.
it to me?
Do you want me to explain psychology?
Well, you can't explain it to the depths of a bachelor's degree or a PhD.
Well, hold
or
on a second.
master's.
Time out. I've sat here with no notes, no phone, and debated people with
Yeah, because
PhDs,
you study
masters.
this because it's your job.
Hold on. I didn't go to college, man. That's the point. Is you could do whatever you want without a college degree. You could listen to podcasts, read books. You
think
don't
about
need
if
to
Gauss
go.
wasn't able to go to the University of Göttingen. That's literally the reason.
I can't hear what you said. What'd you say?
You know Gauss, right? Mathematician.
Yes, vaguely, sure. Okay.
Vaguely.
Yes, vaguely, yeah.
Oh,
Do you know who
okay.
Milton Friedman is? Do you know who Herbert Marcuse is? You know who Thomas Sowell is?
Do you use a phone?
Do you know who Gouverneur Morris is?
Well, that's 'cause of Gauss.
No, you don't. So I could do gotcha too.
Like
so before
Euler
you try to
went
get
going
off
to
your ivory
university
tower
is the
and understand
reason
that not
he
everybody.
was able to become so proficient in mathematics.
So here's
and
the
change
thing.
the world.
The majority of kids that go to
Most
college
people
are
that get
more
a
depressed than when they
PhD
enter.
degree are able
Secondly,
to perform much better in their field than someone who doesn't.
Well, then, if that's the question, if that really is true, if
Well,
college is this amazing accelerant, then why do so
I
many
wouldn't say
people?
it is
Hold on,
accelerant, but
let me
if you're
fi-
looking at a
let me
field of
finish.
science,
Let
right?
me finish, man.
And you want to
Have you taken a
accelerate that field of
communication
science,
course, or have you not done
you
that yet?
need a degree.
All right. Let me make my point. If that's the case, why do half of these kids end up with anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 in debt, and they end up getting a job that says, "Oh, sorry, you never needed the degree in the first place"? Why is that the case? Tell me.
People on average, once going to college, make more money.
Hold on, that's not true. They end up getting a job.
That is.
No, that's only if they graduate and it depends on the field of study. Do you know the average college graduate now is getting a job at $61,000 a year. The average plumber after 18 months, $68,000 a year.
Well,
the
sure,
average
but the
welder,
plumber isn't able to
$72,000 a
study
year.
with peers.
The plumber didn't go to college. The plumber went to trade or technical school. There's 11 million job openings that do not require a college degree in this country.
Well, who
11
engineered
million.
the stuff plumbers use?
I'm sorry, what?
Who engineered the stuff plumbers use?
I'm sure someone here. I mean, that it's like
someone with a
It's like
degree
saying who
from
designed
college.
the airplane for the pilot to fly. I mean,
Someone with a degree that went to college. Pilots go to
I'm not
college.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying you get rid of all places of higher learning. The way it's currently comprised for you guys, the amount of debt you have to go into, the
Well,
classes
you
that you
say
have to
don't
take.
get rid of places of higher learning, but
you're-
then you
you're
go on to
you're
say
interrupting me
college
every
is a
15
scam.
seconds. You're not debating in good faith because it is a scam. So let me ask you a question. Can you point to other things of American life the last 100 years that have been scams? For example, when they run an advertisement, they say buy these pills because we're going to make you super muscular, and they don't have all the fine print that it might not work, and you have to have a monthly subscription. We shut down that business for being
That's
a
a little
scam.
different, though. That's a
How is it
product.
different? Hold on a second. When you show up to college, did they tell you you have to take all these classes that you didn't sign up for? Did they? It said that you're gonna have to take all these different classes. Did they tell you that half of you guys would not ever use your degree when you go into your career? How many guys knew that? You guys knew that when you signed up?
Well, college
knew
is
that.
what you
Well, then
make of
you
it,
guys
right?
You guys are willingly participating in the scam. Good for you. The point is this, is that most kids know deep down they're getting ripped off. The number one thing I hear from people across the country in corporate America, boy, college is a waste of time. Boy, I wish I never would have gone. Now I have $60,000 in debt, $70,000 in debt. I wanted to start a business, but now I don't have the credit to do it. Instead, we are wasting our most prized possession, our 18 to 22-year-olds, to go stick them at many universities when they shouldn't be here in the first place. And it is a failed project. It is making us poorer. And by the way, just look at the actual numbers over a period of time. Has it worked? Is homeownership now going up for young college
Well,
graduates?
how are we going to blame that on college, though?
There's a
There's a lot of different reasons that people are not able to buy homes.
It's the most equally applicable thing across the board for a
I wouldn't
generation.
say so.
And if you look at the average, how much debt do you have to go to school, by the way?
None.
None. Okay, wow. Are you on scholarship or?
Yeah,
Okay, so who's paying for your college then?
probably the federal government.
Okay, so I'm paying for your college, is what you're saying. My
Uh,
taxes are paying for your college. So wait, you're on grant or what?
I'm not going to discuss my college finances with
Well, no,
you.
this is really important. This is why you're so defensive of college.
Yeah.
This is why you're so forceful, because you don't have to walk around the rest of your life with $100,000 student
I know
loan debt.
plenty of people that
because-
have part-time
hold on a second.
jobs and go to college.
This explains you perfectly. I, the taxpayer, when I write my check to the IRS, I'm subsidizing your ability to go to college.
Okay. When
And I
I
think that's a
write
huge
my
mistake,
check to the
'cause-
IRS, I
'cause
also give money for people to go to college.
You should have skin in the game. You should, and you don't right now. You are doing a freeloading thing. Of course, you should be defensive of
I
college.
pay taxes. I pay federal taxes.
Yeah,
I pay state taxes.
I'm
Well,
sure I
state-
pay a
let's
little
say
bit more than
income
you, but that's a
taxes,
separate issue. But the point is this: is
That's
that
probably true.
you think you pay anywhere close to the tuition value you get at the school? Probably not.
Yeah, probably I do. It's like $5,000 a semester. It's a lot of money, but you get a lot out of
Wait,
that.
hold on. How much is it to go to school here?
It's around 5,000
So in-state.
in-state. Yeah.
Okay, did that include room and board and tuition?
No.
Okay, how much does that cost?
Room, board, tuition, all of it's around 11,000.
11,000 a semester. So you pay $22,000 a year in taxes?
No.
Okay, got it. So you're in a tax deficit, which means the U.S. taxpayer is subsidizing your education. That's fine. I'm not faulting you for it, but this is why you're so defensive, is you're detached from the price. You're detached from the cost. It's easy to be defensive of something you're not paying for.
Hi. Can you speak about how liberals control Black Americans' mind and how Black people are their worst enemy and about staying in the victim mentality?
Yeah, the victim mentality is a curse, and when you're around long enough, you realize it's not just liberals that are selling that victim mentality. It's, the left and the right when it's expedient for them to further a certain cause. But I think liberals are more guilty of it, particularly not liberals, the left, the far left, lives in victim houses. Here's the truth. If you believe in your own victimhood, you will become your own oppressor. If you believe, woe is me, I can't get ahead, you will be shocked at the power of your own words and the power of your own mentality. Like I said at the beginning of this, psychology is key. And if they insert in your psychology that you can't, I can guarantee you 100% that you most certainly will not. Right? And if you reverse that psychology and you say, I can guarantee to you that you will. And it is the most harmful, it is a death sentence on your life to just believe that you are nothing but a victim. It turns you into a whiny, angry, upset, can-do-nothing individual that nobody wants to be around. And that's why I say victimhood is a curse, and to believe in your own victorship is a blessing.
Sorry, I have another one. Also, what would you say to the Black Americans that claim America is so racist, but yet they're killing their own people?
The first thing that I would say to them is to get educated, genuinely. Just start somewhere. Listen to someone who you hate, like me, for like one episode. I'm always like, just give me one episode, please. Pick up a Thomas Sowell book. Explore the other idea. Because it is just such a lie and it is such a nonsense, and it isn't just Black Americans, it is all Americans. Like, they've extended it from Black Americans to all of these other victim groups that we're talking about tonight. And the more that you get into history, you realize that the issue was never black on white, tall on short, men on women. It was always the government trying to drive people apart. So education is the key to everything. True education.